So I go up to the check-in, put our printouts of our tickets there. What do they say? You're not in the system. Aye. So how come? I don't know, maybe the place where you bought it from, these guys have not managed it properly between us and them. So you have no tickets. I said, so okay. When is the next flight available to Ukunda? Well, there's nothing more today. There's nothing more tomorrow, and then nothing else day after tomorrow. This is day before New Year's Eve. We have a hotel booking at the coast. So what do they tell me to do? The guys in the check-in says, you go up and speak to the administration, to the ticket office. And I said, oh my God, how is this going to go now? So my wife and kids, they sit down. I go up to that office. So they say, sorry, you're not in the system, but let's see what we can do. You know what I had? I had 3 persons calling every single airline in Kenya to try to find a flight for us to either Mombasa or Ukunda. 3 people. They spent a half an hour. Fortunately, we were in good time because we know it's busy in the airport. They spent half an hour, 45 minutes just calling, trying to find any slot for any place for us. One airline calling all the other airlines. And in the final end, they still managed somehow to put us on that flight we were booked on. Somehow. I tell you, I never fly another airline ever going to Safari or going to the coast. I'll not give the name of the airline because I'm not paid to do this. Now I'm going to do something odd. I'm going to do something odd, okay? Don't worry, it's going to stop with my shoes, okay? I'm going to put my shoes here. You know, for 30 years, you know what I have done? I have a slide in every presentation where I show shoes. Whose shoes? Well, okay, now imagine they're not my shoes, okay? So whose shoes are those? Customer shoes. Why do I show shoes? Because if you're able to put yourself into the customer shoes properly and think as the customer, understand what the customer expect and need from us, we have solved a large part of that problem. Because then we know how to serve them. Sometimes the shoes are good for other things. It's actually sometimes good to put on the shoes of people reporting to you or your manager. Spouse and wife is also very good sometimes when things happen to try to understand, what is going on. But fundamentally, if you can put yourself into the shoes of customers, just think about it. Because as I said, expectations when you buy something is not very different from any of us here. We know what we want. We want good service. We want good quality, value for money. We want the product to be there. We want actually nice environment as well. Maybe we want a cup of coffee. That's nice. So when I was in the showroom yesterday, for example, I said, you're not serving coffee. They said, no. The coffee machine is over there. We do serve coffee. Because it's nice. People can say, coffee has nothing with when you buy a product. No, but you create a nice environment for people buying. I think we have a lot of common theme from everything we have heard. I think we all know. The question is once again, because we're already doing a lot of this, but is that razor sharp focus? Not only the front end, throughout the whole company. And for people sitting a little bit further away from the front, I think also, how do you actually impact customer value, service, and delivery? Because you all do one way or another. Thank you so much from my side. I will put on my shoes again, and I will actually leave this stage for the final thing by Anthony. Please, Anthony.
And before you start, questions have started coming in, and we'll start with the online questions. So you call upon PV to read it.
I hope I don't mess up with your video works. So, as I said, we want to make this thing as structured as possible, and it's there for the long haul. So what does that mean? Number one is, remember the saying goes that anything that is not measured doesn't get done, right? So with Ruben's help, and of course with help from all the other people in the different countries and yourselves, we've started a process, as Anders mentioned, of tracking these, and this is going to happen on a monthly basis. Okay? Now, that which gets measured and does not get shown, okay, nothing happens. So one of the things I want to do is make it visible. Okay? Make it visible so that you can see at any point in time, any one of us in any BU should be able to see how are we doing from a customer satisfaction perspective, because it's visible. So we're going to work on that. The other thing is human beings are human beings, right? We like incentives, okay? So what we want to do is we also want to embed the customer satisfaction measures into our KPIs at BU level. That comes down to the organizations, because then it becomes something that we are truly married and attached to. Okay, so I think that's going to be important. It's been a learning journey. We've learned lots of things in the process, and we're still refining the process. We've gotten results, and those results are flattering in some cases and damn hard, really painful in others. Okay. And Ruben mentioned, like when it comes to quality, nobody argues with us. When it comes to delivery, I think it's been spoken about. There's lots of things we can do. Now, as I said, when you walk out of this place, I want you to remember two things. One is the customer is the boss or the king, right? Customer is the boss of the king. That's why we come to work. Number two, this is a movement we are starting, right? Join the movement. Join the movement. Because as Jackie said, every part of the body is important. Until you lose your thumb, okay, maybe the thumb is a bit obvious, but if you lose your small toe, one time I knocked one on I cracked my toe early last year, playing with the dog, and I hit one of the chairs, and the toe went that way and it broke. Believe you me, walking was a real mission because of the little toe that we think is insignificant. So every single person matters. So my rallying call to you guys is join the movement, okay? Get involved.
I think they have to stand up and join the movement.
Yes.
Let's stand up and join the movement.
Guys. So what do? We say, join the movement. So tell the person right next to you, join the movement.
Join the movement.
Tell them again. There you go. Very good. So I hope the guys online, you're asking guys to join this movement. It is the biggest movement that we are starting as a company, and it will make a difference. Very good. Now, sit down, guys. We will go into Q&A. And the questions will come, and I will deflect accordingly, depending on how they come. So maybe, let's start with online. So Piwi, do you have any question there?
We've got just two questions at the moment, Anthony, but maybe the guys are warming up while they join the movement. The first question, you've already answered a question around if customer centricity is really, really important. Are we actually going to measure it in our KPIs? And I think you've addressed that one. The second question coming in from Fuzail, he says it was mentioned that customers have a problem finding us. Have we considered advertising on Google, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube?
Yes. So we are ramping up our advertising across the different platforms. Have we done enough? Not all the time. I think We've improved our digital platform quite a bit, but I still think there's a lot more we can do to make sure that. Remember, we have an e-commerce store. We all know we have e-commerce, right? I always say, like, when Superroof say they have 49 stores, I tell them they have 50 because there's e-commerce. So the e-commerce is a store. We need to get people there. We need to delight them. So there's work we need to do. There's been a lot of work done on search engine optimization. We've got better adverts. We've got better targeting. So I think from a digital footprint, we're doing well. From showrooms, lots of work being done to make sure that when we did the last research in 2021, customers said, we want to buy your product at a store close to us. Okay, so across every single country, the sales guys are working day and night to make sure that we increase our footprint with product so that it's available. Appointing dealers in Tanzania as we speak. By the end of this year, they will have appointed close to 28 new dealers across the country to make sure that our product is available at a place nearby. In East Africa, in Kenya, we are looking at the same. Uganda has already conquered the central region where they were struggling. In South Africa, we are driving Superroof. In Mozambique, we are busy, increasing our footprint to the different towns to make sure we're there. In Namibia, that is a massive country. In the north, we are looking at opening new showrooms. So, as I said, this is not blah, blah, blah. We are putting the infrastructure in place, be it people, be it the physical structures, be it digital, to make sure that we're available. And on top of that, you'll have seen we've begun advertising again. So for those in MRM, you're seeing advertising in Kenya, Uganda and Ts that have been doing that. So it's coming together in a nice, cohesive way. Let's take some questions from here.
We say customer is king, but some kings are bad. How do you handle a bad king?
That's a good question. There is never a bad customer because that customer is coming to you because they want to buy. Okay? They might come with attitude. They might be disruptive. But at the end of the day, it is for us to find a way. The same way that yesterday, the guy at Unga, I was pretty furious. I think, if there was a technology to project the person physically, I would have been on that guy's neck. But this chap was really calm because he knew this is a potential sale. And he calmed me down by saying, hey, this stuff we do. First, I'm very sorry that they told you that we have this stuff. We don't. So he was very transparent. Okay. Then he went on to explain. So I think it's up to us to make sure that we learn how to handle the customers. There is never a bad customer. There is only lacking on our side on how we manage to turn what could be negative energy, because all we care about is one thing. That customer walks out of our dealership or service center or dealer's premises happy, having bought our product. That's all that matters at the end of the day.
Maybe because I think it comes back to shoes quite often once again. When your child comes up, running up to you screaming, parents normally do what? Hopefully not like that, but you push the kid away. But I mean, if you put on the shoes of that kid to really try to understand what is the problem, why is the kid screaming? Yeah? And I think the same thing with customer, that can be difficult to manage. You need to understand what is the problem that customer actually have. Because if we just go into normal jargon or how we have, maybe it doesn't work. We just need to understand. So I actually, once again, I go back to my shoes. Okay, did we have more questions?
Yes. What measures, strategies are being taken or being put in place to address competition? Another question. What strategies are in place to sustain sales under the current inflation and economic environment?
Is that one or two questions?
Yeah,
Two questions. Okay, very good. So I will allow DP to go for it.
In terms of strategies, I think what I would like to say is that we're looking at we are transferring from a roofing company to a building solution company. I think that's our first strategy in terms of trying to provide a solution and trying to do much more than the roofing. The roofing is only one element and then start moving into solution. Obviously, we want to gain market share. So we want to be ahead of the market. The market is growing and we want to be ahead of the market. And that's what is one of our strategy. And there are a lot of things that you need to build in as you want to be, as you want to be number one and number two in the market. But remember, today, what we're talking about is at the core of our strategy to differentiate and become number one in the market. What we're talking about, the customer heartbeat or the customer, is where we focus, we give him solutions, we provide him services and delight him so that we continue to dominate the market where we operate. So that's so all that we're doing, where Ashish talked about the color line in Tanzania, when you're talking about the PEB business that we're getting on, when we're talking about moving from a roofing company to a solution company, and now when we're talking about the customer heartbeat, these are all strategies being put in place so that we differentiate in the market and we grow ahead of the market. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Dipti. I was going to say something. Yeah, and all the things we've talked about in terms of showrooms, better advertising. We have a 5-year plan, which we actually discussed 2 days ago. Just refreshing to see what is competition doing, how do you want to address it? And every country has a different challenge, right? And so the strategies have been formulated such that at country level, we are ensuring that we are ready to fight with competition. But the truth is, competition is becoming a lot stronger. And hence why it's important that customer focus, customer delight becomes a differentiator for us versus anybody else. Now, I'm told there is an online question. Pee-wee, tell us.
Okay, so another one, which I think is a really, really pretty good one. Are we going to invest in consumer behavioral research so that we don't just serve them based on their post-purchase service opinions, but also deeply understand them so that we can be ahead of their needs, anticipate them, if you will? Question coming in from Dominic, which I think is really good because we want to understand our customers, but we want to be on the forefront of what they need, very similar to what I believe Apple did when Steve Jobs was still around.
Pee, very good question. Are we going to invest? We are already investing, okay? Part of the work that Ruben has been leading is exactly that, is talking to consumers to understand, to make sure that we understand actually both consumers. You know, when we talk about customer, it's a broad term because a customer can be somebody who buys directly from you, so walks into a showroom and buys, and we tend to call that on a consumer, but they are a customer. Then you have somebody we sell to, right? And they sell on our behalf. That's a customer. Then you've got somebody who plays the role of influencing, okay? That's a customer. And we've been speaking to these people. It costs us quite a bit whenever we do it, but we did a really 2 extensive surveys in 2021 and 2022, and that's what has given us it created the visibility that, you know what, there's work that needs to be done. We also need to get creative in the way that we do our research. Nothing stops any of us in a structured way from, you know, speaking to consumers in the showrooms, in the service centers. We understand. So are we going to invest? We are already investing, and we will keep investing to make sure actually the work that Ruben is doing now, because part of what part of the questionnaire that goes out, it goes out to our customers, so the retailers that we sell to, but also to end consumers. So with these, every single month, we're going to be getting feedback from our consumers and our retailers, which will allow us to react to the true issues that they're having.
Okay, so Anthony, I've got another comment as well as a question, if there isn't anything there directly. So a comment saying, my suggestion for effective customer service comes with passion, ownership, drive, timeline to walk the talk, continuous communication, and deliver to make customer delight. We have to change culture, change to be more dynamic, flexible, fulfill market demands, to become a dominant player, to provide building solutions, which I believe is right in line with what Dipti mentioned in terms of changing that mindset. So a couple of suggestions coming in linked to that. And then a question also coming in, and maybe also for Dipti or yourself, or maybe Jackie, not sure. As we ensure that our products and services are of top quality to delight our customer, will we also consider rewarding our customers as part of customer delight in the future? I'm assuming that's linked to some form of rewards program or not, or incentive plans, but is this something that we would look at considering?
Thanks, P. I think the initial comment was spot on. That's exactly what you're trying to do. I think by joining the movement, it means that we start changing the culture. Culture, of course, doesn't change overnight, but I think if we already start formatting our minds in that sense, then we'll get there. In terms of rewarding the customer, I think at this point in time, we haven't developed anything yet, because I think we actually think for most customers, if they came and we supplied in full and in time, or we delivered in full and in time, that will already be a big reward for them. But in terms of have we at this moment thought of a structured program to reward the customers? Not yet. The other thing I forgot to say is, I did say it's a journey, but you're also very open to such suggestions coming in, right? Because then we queue them and we figure out when is the best time to look into them.
Just wanted to give one message. We get very worried about competition putting up a new factory or something like that. And we get a bit worried, oh, they put up a factory, they're going to come in and et cetera, et cetera. But please remember, we are growing. We are growing ahead of the market. So we're gaining market share despite whatever we talk about. So we're growing as far as the markets are concerned. Secondly, our two biggest agenda that we're talking about, a solution and all that we're talking about, customer service, showrooms and retail, is something not very easy for competition to, because we've been talking about for the last 3-4 years about these showrooms, retail, etc. It's not going to be very easy for, that's a cultural mindset. It's not so easy for competition just to replicate. So that's where we're going to be ahead of the competition. We are going to put up another factory as well as we need it. So that's not going to be a major differentiator. That will be, obviously, we'll run the factory as well. But on the customer side, on the value sales, on the solution is where we will differentiate and dominate the market. So that's what is going to take us for the next 5-6 years, and that's or 10 years maybe, and that's where we have to work very hard. We'll put up another additional factory as well as we invest, but that's where we have to work a lot harder in terms of the customer, the solutions, what we're talking about, and that's where it will win our game. So we shouldn't get too worried about somebody putting up a factory and etc. etc. Thank you.
Thanks, DP. I think we've run out of questions. Okay, we'll take maybe 1 or 2 more. Then just very quick, maybe apologies to our team in Uganda. For some strange reason, your videos are not included, but we will play them. And as I said, this is a journey, and we will keep playing these videos. We will get more videos as we go forward. So let's get, now you have to choose wisely. Last 2 questions. Let's go for it.
All right, this is a comment. Our delays are not systems related, but approvers. Then now I can ask 2 questions.
That was a loaded comment.
Very loaded. A movement is well said and accepted by a song that becomes like a unifying factor. Have you considered to have a movement anthem?
That is a brilliant. It's a brilliant one. For Deep to speak, we have not thought about it, but as I said, we're very open to suggestions. And guess what? Maybe Karen can run a competition across the group. Wants to create the movement anthem, and then we'll just be like, yeah.
Just to answer that question, in fact, I told you about the example of the furniture palace. I think it has to be much more empowering the front end, who's dealing with the customer. Because if you empower him to take, he or she to take the decision in the front end, we don't need an approval. So we need to be a little bit more flexible for people who are dealing with customers to be much more empowered. and obviously, and of course, empower the right person, but give them a lot of empowerment to take decision, and your customer service will improve. Because that day, that person could not take a decision for me because probably he or she was not empowered. So we need to empower and remove as much as less as. I know where we are coming from. SAP, putting it in SAP, going for the approval. There has been challenges, but if I really reflect on it, we have to empower our front end people to deal with the customer, to take decisions there, and that will create a lot of solutions and help us a lot. I think we need to look at that for sure, and that's definitely a point. What you mentioned is right. We need to improve quite a bit significantly there.
All right, finally.
Very good. Final question?
Yes. We have not heard from George Arodi and UBL. I think his success story would come with some learnings for all of us.
As I said, I did apologize that we did have a bit of a glitch. For sure, I would have had George and his team. And Team Uganda has been doing some really good stuff on the customer side. Jeff would know, he came from there. And they've been, at the forefront of some of these things. And you will get to see the videos from Uganda. Karen, you'll make sure that those circulate so that everybody gets to see the good work being done over there. And once again, apologies, Team Uganda Party. You guys rock when it comes to the customer. It's a shame we didn't include your videos for whatever reason. Good. So what we'll do is I'll ask Anders to make the closing comments. And then after that, Karen and team, we can chop up the cake.
I have the prerogative of having the last word. So first of all, I should say actually I had a chat with George yesterday afternoon. He was actually the one that opened the first showroom in the group in Ethiopia 2011. So well done, George. I know you have a good focus on customers and how to find models for working that out. You guys knew who Colin Powell was? You know who that was? He got quite famous, I think, during the Kuwait crisis. I think he was the Secretary of Defense in the US. He said many things. If you look at his course, and many quotes. I think one quote that I like is optimism is a force multiplier. We have to remember one thing, yeah? And it's very important where this comes in context. We have a lot of very, very good people. And for me, it's all about people. We are spread in every single country in Eastern and Southern Africa, either through having our own operation or through Abidiat and the export organization. So we have a very, very extensive coverage of the markets. We have a great portfolio. Let's not forget that and deeply touched upon it. Strength comes out of also what you can offer to the customer. When I went into the mobile network downstairs, what does it say on the phone? It says MRM Roofing. I said, it is MRM Building Solution. Yeah? We have to accept, it's not that we try to become a building solution company. We are a building solution company. Believe it or not, in 15, 20 years, our PB business can become as big as our roofing business. These guys went to Australia. Australia, with slightly more than 20 million in population, does 80,000 PB buildings every single year. 80,000. So it's not like the icing or the cake or something we do on the side. No, building solution is essential for us. We do cold form buildings for everything from classrooms to churches, smaller warehouses, whatever. We do cold rooms today. We all know that. Yeah? We do a lot of accessories, and we through kits and bundles can do more on the accessory side. Yeah? We're going into solar. We have structured panels, and we invest in equipment to be able to cater to that portfolio. We start to do fabrication in steel, so we can do things that actually we can even put into our PB buildings, so forth. So we have good people. We spread among a lot of cover the geographic areas. We have a great portfolio. We have great brand equity. We're not doing everything perfect, but we have built strong brands. Try to find anyone in Kenya that doesn't know what the Musas is. Almost impossible. As impossible as finding someone that don't know Coca-Cola probably. Yeah? So we're so well known. And that brand equity that we have in basically every single market. One place we try to build that today on the residential side in South Africa, which is a huge opportunity because we haven't been in that segment at all. If we can do that, will help us a lot with growth. But portfolio and what we do across can help us. Yeah? We have good quality. We do service the customers well. You know, we're not, this thing we're doing here is not because we're bad at it. We just need to really be razor sharp and refocus even more on it because we realize that will be a thing that will set us aside. And as Deepti said, competition will become stronger. Yeah. So why do I say this? It's just for us to understand that we are a strong company from almost all aspects. We're stronger than any other company in this sector, in these geographies. Yeah. So for us, it's very important, you know, optimism, positivism. We should act like leaders because we are leaders. Yeah. We build Africa with pride. Thank you so much. So now what we're going to do then, to the final chapter of this, we're going to do the launch video.
In a constant rhythm, the heart pumps vital blood and oxygen through the body. Each heartbeat is the very essence of life and vitality. Our customers are the very essence of life and vitality. They are the heartbeat of our business. They are the driving force through which we thrive and grow. Whatever their needs are, we cater to. Wherever they go, we are present. Whatever they aspire to, we help them achieve. Without customers, our business is a body with no heart. We would simply cease to exist. With this in mind, we are launching Project Heartbeat. Project Heartbeat is more than an initiative. It's our movement. A movement to make customer delight our differentiator versus others. As the gap between us and competition diminishes, how we make our customers feel makes all the difference. Every customer we serve is the heartbeat to our business. The better we serve them, the stronger the heartbeat, and by extension, the stronger our business. Let's join together in our movement to take customer delight to the next level.
Oh. Can we cut the cake?
Good afternoon, everyone. Roho inapigaje? Tutu. Is it strong? So today we've gotten to learn very many things. That fish is not only tilapia, there's also catfish. Those of you who don't eat catfish, you need to find it. Now, I want to pose a challenge to each one of you. How many of you are on Facebook? Instagram? Twitter? How many of you follow any of your BU Facebook pages, Twitter handles, Instagram pages? See? Then how will your heart beat if you're not even following your? Exactly. How will you know your person if you're not following them? Isn't it? So we're going to have cake for two reasons. You cannot delight in customers if you don't delight in yourself. Because you can't come to work gloomy, you're sad, you don't have energy. How will a customer walk to you and you show energy if you don't have energy, isn't it? So start by delighting in yourself, isn't it? You cannot sell that which you don't believe in. So if you're not on any of our social media pages, the market has changed. We're no longer, how many of you are writing love letters and sending to the PO box? What are we doing? WhatsApp, isn't it? So we also have to change how we are treating our social media, and let's engage on social media. So our cake is getting prepared. I'd like to call upon our GMT team to just come right around here. Just a few of us. Please join us right here. You can have a seat actually. As we prepare for cake, I'd like to invite our GMT team to come around the cake.
I want Ruben here as well. Come, Ruben.
Yes,
Jeff should
Ruben.
be here.
Yeah.
Asha, come here also.
I'd also like to call
Can talk
Joanne,
to us all the time. You also.
Kevin, Dottie, and Carol to join the GMT team.
Okay.
For the guys who are not physically at the cake cutting festival, I know that different BUs are doing different things. So at this point in time, we would like to thank the guys online. We thank you for your time. We thank you for your engagement. And we release you to go and celebrate with your teams. We release you to start thinking about the customer movement. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
So we're just putting our cake arrangement in order.
Oh, let's lift it up there. Can't we lift it up there? Yeah, we lift it. Lift it. Let's lift it. Let's lift it. Yeah.
Yes, it needs to
We
come
lift
closer
it. We
here.
lift it. We lift it. We need to have it up there somehow.
I think that's good now.
Top. There we go. That's the right place for it. Now we go.
That's what Heartbeat is about.
Yeah. Go. Come, guys. Come. Let the ladies cut.
Okay, so we can come around the cake. This week we've eaten a lot of sweets, huh? And then we're ending the week with cake. Do we have a Heartbeat song for the cake?
Ruben, you should also be part with all the ladies to cut. Please.
All right.
Hey.
Cheers to the Heartbeat of Safal Group. Cheers to success and cheers to our customer. So let's go. It's a heartbeat. It's a heartbeat going on. Thank you, everyone. Let us delight in our customers.
Well done.
And thank you. We're going to serve cake shortly.
Well
and
done.
after
Thank
cake,
you.
we're going to have some photos.
Thank you.
And we have a photo booth right at the back. Thank you, everyone.
Huh? Come on.
you